You're listening to Empowered to Lead, the Therapist Practice. I'm Lisa Catello, therapist, business coach, and your go-to for all things leadership and sustainable practice growth. This is your space for real talk, smart strategies, and grounded support to help you lead with confidence, work with intention, and build a business that actually works for you. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the Empowered to Lead podcast. I'm so glad that you're here. And joining us today is Gisela Lamadrid. She has a group practice in the Lower Mainland of BC, and I'm so excited to have her be a part of our podcast. One of the reasons why I have other group practice owners come and join us is so that you know that you're not alone as a group practice owner. I think I've talked a few times on here about how it feels like our world gets small as we start a group practice. And so I want you to know you're not alone. There's other people who get you, who have gone through some of the same stuff that you've gone through, and just to hear others' experiences and some of the inspiration. And that's one thing that I would use, a term that I would use when I think of Gisela is inspiring. We have been working together for at least 2 years now and on a pretty regular basis, and just your ingenuity, your care for your clients, your intentionality for how you have been building your business has been something that has been inspiring to me. And I also will refer to it sometimes when I'm talking to other people. And you have done a really good job of creating a great team, but also an excellent service. And that's something that has stood out to me as well. Just your commitment to quality in everything that you do. So I'm so glad you're here to share with some of your information and some of your experiences. So just start with Gisela. Tell us a little bit about you and your group practice.
Thank you, Lisa, for inviting me to this podcast. I think it's very beneficial for a lot of group practice owners.
Hey.
Well, our practice is called Strong Ties. It's a counseling practice that is very, very specialized and focused on helping children, teens, and families. We provide services for kids starting at 3 years old up to around the 22, 24, depending on why they are requiring services. And then we provide a lot of counseling and parent support for parents of thinking about becoming parents to parents of adult children. Okay. So it's very specialized on children, teens, and also on families.
So when you think of your ideal client, you're thinking of a kid a certain age or 3 till 18 kind of thing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And we're thinking about ideal clients would be parents who are in need themselves of support to learn how to best empower their children.
Okay. I have never asked you this question before. Why did you choose Strong Ties as the name?
I think that when I chose the Strong Ties, it was because I was originally thinking to have a private practice oriented to be a group practice.
Okay.
So I wanted to use a name that was reflective of a group and not just my own vision. Yeah. And I also remember that I tried the name in different contexts and run it by different people.
Okay.
Because I think in the beginning, I can't remember what other name I chose, but it didn't really appeal to men. It was maybe too teasy, and it appeared more to moms. Moms are usually the ones that require services, but we wanted to make it very broad to encompass maybe also a teenager or a dad looking for services. So that's why we went to the family approach in the name.
Yeah. Because even as you were talking about your ideal client, it feels like let's create a strong family and strong ties within the family. Hey. So even when you started your private, you were one of few group practice owners that was already thinking, I want a group practice down the road when you started your private practice.
Yeah.
It's funny because there's so many people that I work with and they call themselves an accidental group practice owner. And last month I was at a retreat in Greece and was talking about how I always knew that I wanted to be a group practice owner. Like once I became a therapist, I knew that that was my trajectory. And I had a bunch of people that come up and like, I never thought that. You're such an anomaly. I've never heard of anyone knowing it that early. So, hey, you also knew that early.
Yeah, I knew it from the beginning. Yeah.
So,
yeah. Which is a blessing, but I didn't know what I was going into at some point.
Yeah. How would you describe yourself as a leader, Gisela?
Okay. I want to believe that I give my team a collaborative and creative, safe space to really make sure that they can talk to me, that they can present their ideas and share their opinions. I do now clinical supervision as well. And so it's very important for me that it's also a clinic that allows for growth in therapists.
Okay.
And for that, I think that I value a lot open communication and accountability for what we do with our clients, with ourselves, with our team. So yeah, I want to think about myself maybe as a collaborative leader.
Okay. So as a group practice owner, kind of coming back to what you said about you always knew that you wanted to have it. Well, always. Once you started a private practice, you knew that you wanted to have a group practice. Tell us a little bit about that journey. So you said like you didn't know exactly what you were signing up for. How would you say you have grown as a leader from that private practice? I'm choosing this name because I know I want a group practice. Who you were then to who you are now?
Yeah, in the beginning, private practice felt very lonely, and I think it involved a lot of knowledge that I didn't know, a lot of systems to be put in place that I had no experience with. So I think that at that point, I wasn't really ready to become the leader of a group practice. But the intention was always there because I come from a country where psychology is always as practice in a group. You practice with other practitioners, whether that's psychiatrists, psychologists, counselors, teachers. It's a group. So maybe that's why I always thought about group practice from the get-go. But as my practice grew and we became a team, I think that my leadership has changed towards being more mindful about how I listen to the needs of not only clients, but how I listen to the needs of my team. Okay. Because as solo practitioner, you really focus on your clients. But when you become a team lead, you are also having to respond to the needs of the counselors that work with you. And so I think that my leadership has changed to encompass more practical skills and more of a collaborative approach on how do we cooperate to make clients feel safe and supported. And how do we foster that teamwork?
Would you say there's a switch that is happening or has happened for you where, in a sense, your therapists become your clients? Like you're kind of exchanging client hours for taking care of your team?
Yes.
Yes.
You have been super helpful and helping me deal with that initial grief and fear, right? The fear of letting some clients go to work on the practice, and also to make sure that I respond to the needs of the therapist, which are different from the needs of clients. Our clients come wanting support for very specific things in terms of their mental health or their development, but therapists have the need for flexible schedules and guidance on policies and procedures that I, as a counselor, no one trains you in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you've had to learn and develop some of those skills and the flexibility with them. And I'm not that I like the word, but when you said like there's grief over choosing to release some clients so that you can take care of your therapist, which I think in a lot of ways then enables your business to see more clients, because that frees you up to help your therapist excel and see the clients that you can't see as many client hours as maybe you would like to or you used to.
Yeah, definitely. I think I use the word grief because for me personally, it involved a lot of that I had no idea about all the management skills that I didn't have and that I had to learn. So, like you start with the starting point and then an ideal, and then you have no idea what happens in the middle. So I wasn't really prepared to let, half of to maybe cut my caseload in half. So that felt very scary. Yeah.
I remember that being difficult, especially as you were thinking of adding the second location.
Yes.
And talking through that. Mm-hmm. Let's talk a little bit about what that process was. Did you always have a picture of more than one location?
No. Initially, I wanted just a group to have camaraderie, to work together in a practice that also had flexibility and freedom to choose your own schedule, your own rhythm, your own cases as well. For me, that was important when I became a mom. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to bring that in our team because I felt like working as a dependent that didn't really allow for all the flexibility that I needed.
Okay.
But along the way, I discovered that in the work that we do specifically at Strong Ties, there is such a need. There's such a need for people who specialize in children and teenagers and parents. And so we are very, very honored to work for Coquitlam. And we thought that if we were to bring that in another location, we would be really collaborating and helping the community, the school communities especially, because they are so overwhelmed. So we did some market research, and we found that the exponential growth in Langley really puts a lot of pressure on the school systems and on the mental health of families, pediatricians. Like there's not enough services there. So we thought we would replicate that model in Langley.
Have you been able to maintain the camaraderie? And if so, how have you done that?
I want to believe so. How I think that for me it was important to create a space that is a smaller office. So our office is small. Right now it has 3 rooms. And if I was to grow more, offices would be no more than 4 rooms, because that allows for therapists to really see each other. And we aim to book therapists in the same schedule.
Yeah.
So they can actually have someone to work on, like, right next door.
Oh, so each of your therapists are the same schedule as much as possible. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Which makes the office busy, especially after school hours.
Yes.
But I think that's the vibe we want to give. It's calm, but at the same time, we work with kids and teens. So it's also very giggly, and you can hear other counselors right next door. Like you can tell that they are playing, and you hear like and giggle, and that's what we wanted to bring.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Awesome. So you have been able to maintain that even through expanding. And you actually, when we think about, and when I talked about intentionality, you were intentional in that expansion. You tried it out with one office first, see how that goes and see the appetite for that. And then now you've got the 3 offices. One of the things too that you talked about was like supporting the school community and pediatricians and that comes back to the strong ties too. Hey, like, helping the community and developing those relationships. And it's not just like, here we are, send us your kids. It's here. How do we support you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because children are not raised in isolation. They are half of their days at school. And so the teacher becomes a very important person to partially raise this child and create so many learning opportunities. And parents, and then the medical system for some of our families that really has to be very well involved. So yeah, it is a community. It takes a village, really.
Yeah. One of the questions that I had posed to you is, one of the things that I've learned through supporting group practice owners is that while I think having systems in place and having that structure is pretty much similar throughout how you build an effective business, there's not really a one-size-fits-all approach. So what is one thing that you think is important for someone to know so that they can show up as an effective leader? So if there's not like, here's the recipe to be a really good leader, what's one thing you think somebody really needs to know to be a good group practice owner, a good leader?
You can't do it alone. You can't. Yeah. There's no way, because there's so many, you represent a business. And if you think about, I don't know, businesses like Coca-Cola or like, I don't know, a construction organization, like they have a marketing department, they have an accounting department, they have an HR department, a legal department. And so when you become a group practice owner, you really need to create your own team.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's the reason why I started working alongside you, because I was drowning. Like, you cannot do it all. You can't be it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so looking for those systems, the support systems, the people with expertise and specific skills that you don't have but you need, it is key. Yeah.
Who all do you have in your corner then? Who is part of your team?
Okay, this is where I gave my thank yous then. Thank you to my accountant. I accept this award. Yeah, it took me some time to find a good accountant that understands that I know nothing about accounting. You know, like an accountant, a lawyer, two different types of lawyers. One for contracts that helps you with hiring people, and another one that helps you with having to deal with more of HR issues. Mm-hmm. I have the bookkeeper. Then I have a fantastic client care coordinator that is beyond my dreams. And she helps me a lot with everything, really. Yeah. With being in the forefront of the business in terms of contact with clients. I have you in my team. I have peers that are other group practice owners. Sure. And a supervisor for my clinical cases or my supervision cases. And my brother is a manager. And so he helped me a bit with the HR pieces.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a lot of people.
Yeah, you really have a good team, hey?
The person that helps me clean the office, admin people of like the business office where we're at right now. Like, yeah, you name it.
Yeah.
So a lot of people involved.
Mm-hmm. We didn't plan this question, but what is one of the best things about being a group practice owners, and what do you think is one of the struggles you've had also as for this role?
One of the best things about a group practice owner is, I think the best part, the part that I like the most is that I am still learning. You never finish with learning. There's always opportunities. Like your doors open so much to create whatever you want to create. So you can be super innovative and really design just the systems that you want, that work for you, that work for your clients. I love that part. I love the flexibility of, if there's a family in need that cannot afford services and we can see our budget and we can help, then we can provide a low fee, or, like that there's a lot of flexibility to create whatever we want.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that part. I think the struggles have to do more with not knowing certain skills that as a counselor you don't learn.
Yeah.
And that maybe I find that the psychological profile of counselors, we tend to be agreeable and we tend to be empathetic and want to sit down on feelings and hold space for others.
Yes.
And the profile of a business owner can be quite different.
It definitely is a learning curve, eh? Like, you paid for this master's of education and now you're getting free education in how to run a business.
Yeah. And sometimes people don't like your decisions. It's hard to, hold your boundaries, or like I get very overwhelmed with finances and accounting, and it's a struggle, still a struggle. Mm-hmm. So that's why I look for those people with the expertise that I need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times when people struggle to take on the role of leader, or like as a group practice owner, they don't really like that term. Do you think it's important to step into that role and accept that term as a group practice owner?
I think that naturally any business needs a head.
Yeah.
And leaders should take that with a lot of responsibility. It's a lot of responsibility. So you have a lot of power, and with that comes a lot of responsibility to hold the space for your clients and for your therapist and for your admin and for the community, really.
Yeah.
So, I agree with the term leader, but I think we shouldn't take it as something easy or for granted. It's an honor, really. Yeah.
Almost like hold it with respect, hey? I don't think most of us view ourselves as like hierarchical. It's my way or the highway, but also it's my responsibility to step into that role. If I have people there and are working for me, they want to be led. They are there because they don't want to do this on their own, and they want to know that you know where we're going. You're guiding the ship.
Yeah, and we need guidance too.
Yeah.
It's both sides, but at the same time, it's important to take that with a lot of responsibility to make sure that people are feeling safe in your decision making too.
Yeah. If someone is listening to this podcast today and they're feeling overwhelmed or unsure about their role as a CEO, what would you say is one small step that they could take to move in the right direction?
I think a small step is sinking in, sinking into what you need and where you need guidance. So as to look for it. I think there's fantastic, qualified people that have done this before, and you don't have to reinvent a wheel. Sometimes I try and never works. So much time and effort. So like really sinking in and being humble with what you need and where you're lacking. Because I think it's a good exercise to then look for people that can be your mentors and can be your, and being open to that mentorship.
Yeah. So almost it sounds like what you're saying is like, be willing to be led. In order to be a good leader and avoid the overwhelm as CEO, allow yourself to be led and also to walk alongside or have people walk alongside you in that role.
Yeah. Like you can't do it alone. I cannot imagine. Right. And it's hard. I find that the hard piece is when you can't, as a business owner, sometimes you cannot afford those services.
Yes.
But you are also at the point where you're overwhelmed because you just don't have the capacity, when you're like overwhelmed about the amount of requests that you're getting or inquiries that you're getting, and you don't have the capacity to like still hire an admin person to help you, but you really need it. So you're overwhelmed because you don't have the capacity and you are worried about how to cope with those demands. I think that's a key time to, go and ask like a business coach, what did you do? Because you did it already.
Yeah.
Or other group practice owners that have gone through the same stages and how they solved it. And so you don't need to create your own solutions. You can rely that people already have the experience to help you.
Yeah. And I think also sometimes like spending the money on you. So kind of like, I feel like I don't have the money to hire an admin to take over the phone calls that are coming in, because that's the part that I struggle with the most. But if you spent that money, then you would relieve that stress level, which would help you make better decisions and actually help you show up better, either for your clients or for your therapists. And so sometimes that's an investment in you as much as anything else. And sometimes that's the hardest investment when you're saying like a coach or, quite often that's why I used admin as the first example, is because people are like, oh, like that just costs too much money. But if you get paid $150 to see a client, so that's how much your time is worth, quote unquote. But you have somebody who can do the admin side for $25 an hour. You're spending $150 an hour to answer the phone. That actually doesn't make financial or energy sense either. So sometimes it is hard because you don't have the money and you need to look for support that doesn't cost all that. But sometimes it's also like, where am I going to invest in me and my business in order to move forward too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I think that it also brings up quite a lot of fears and quite a lot of the skills that you don't have. Like for me, I had to change my mindset about what investing means.
Yes.
Like taking how much of a leap can I take that goes along my personality, but also how much a leap of faith can my business take. Mm-hmm. And I think that like the job that you do is really fantastic at helping you explore those blocks. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you have the right answer, like you need to put into place certain things like a marketing strategy, or that you need an admin person, or that you need to hire more therapists, but like there's so many blocks.
Yeah.
Why you don't do it. And the coaching piece helps you to dig a little bit deeper on what kind of blocks are stopping you from getting you to where you want to be.
Yeah.
And the support of someone that is encouraging you to grow, even though it's hard.
One of the things that, as we're wrapping up now, that feels like a takeaway for me as I'm listening to you is like that team, that support around you, and not all of that. You listed a lot of people. You don't pay all of them, but it's also like knowing where do I need support so that I can excel, so that these people can help me in the areas that I am not as strong in. I don't have to be everything to everyone, and I can find people to help me fill those blocks so that I can shine in the part that I do well at and not feel alone at the same time. So you accomplish a few things in one fell swoop there.
Yeah, you can't be all for everyone, and you really need the support of people with expertise. I don't know what I would do without the lawyer. I have no idea. But definitely, like every now and then, and it's not every day, right? It's not that you have to pay for them on a consistent basis, but when you need them, you know they are there, you know who to contact, or at least you know someone who will have maybe that expertise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Gisela, for joining me. I'm sure that some of what you shared here is going to help somebody, not hit them. Try to love somebody who is listening. And maybe it hits you over the head to say, hey, go get that support and be creative in that. And so if somebody wanted to look up your business and just see what you're doing, how would they find you and Strong Ties?
They can go to our website, strongties.ca.
Okay.
Or they can call our number, and fantastic Carlin will be the one helping you with her kind voice and her kindness. So, yeah.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. And for the listeners, thank you for listening in again, and look forward to having you back next week for our next topic. Have a great day. Thanks for hanging out with me on Empowered to Lead, the therapist practice. I hope you're walking away with something that you can put into action, because leadership isn't about doing more, it's about leading with purpose. If you're ready for deeper support, I'd love to see you inside the Group Practice Connection, my monthly membership where Canadian therapists like you get coaching, community, and the tools to build a business that actually supports your life. You can check it out at grouppracticenetwork.ca. The link's in the show notes. And hey, don't forget to hit follow so you don't miss what's coming next. We're building something great here, and I'm so glad you're a part of it.